This is our lineup for our BIDI loggers with accessories. This is our standard BIDI logger with magnetic sensor, the larger version with magnetic sensor, and the hydrophone version with a hydrophone sensor. This here is the ServiceMaster that connects directly to the BIDI logger and receives the data. And this is an Android tablet that runs our BIDI logger app. Here you can see the charging accessories with the cables, car adapter, AC adapter. Here we have the switching magnet for the internal magnetic switch in the BIDI loggers, eyelet, and an angle adapter for the magnets. The BIDI logger has its ID printed on top here, and here on the right hand side there is a small indicator LED. Here is an internal thread to connect the eyelet for easier installation of the BIDI logger in deeper manholes. On the bottom there is the sensor magnet, which can be detached and combined with the angle adapter. It can also be put on the side. Here's a small symbol for the switching magnet. If you bring a magnet in close proximity to the switching magnet, the internal magnetic toggle switch will toggle. This is the ServiceMaster. It has an antenna here that can be screwed on and off. It has a charging port here for USB-C. On the back there is a belt clip for easier carry. And here on the front you can see there are 3 indicator LEDs, 2 for the battery status and 1 for the Bluetooth status. And there's 1 button for switching on and switching off the device. Here on the side is the serial number of the device. When we first ship our loggers, the logger transmission is switched off to conserve battery. Also, in case you procure your own Android tablet, the AZA or OAD app needs to be downloaded from the App Store, and the loggers as well as the ServiceMaster have to be added manually by the user. I will now show you how this is done. In the AZA OAD app, we have 5 tiles, and the bottom right tile indicates the ServiceMaster connection. To connect the ServiceMaster, we need to switch on the ServiceMaster and click the item. Now we hit connecting and we look for available devices. Hit search. And now the tablet has found this device. We can see that here from the serial number matches the serial number here. So we click on this item and wait for the devices to pair. I will get prompted a pairing request, which I confirm. And now both devices have been paired. The ServiceMaster symbol here is now blue, as well as the indicator LED on the ServiceMaster itself. The loggers have not yet been registered in the app. This you can see if you go to Patrol and everything is empty. No loggers are shown here. To register the loggers inside the app, we go to Settings, to Program Settings, to Add Loggers Manually. We toggle to Several Loggers, and then we start with the lowest serial number and go to the highest serial number in our series here. In this case, this is only 4 loggers. Now the loggers have been added to the app, which we can see if we go to patrol. All 4 loggers are registered now, but no noise data is available yet. Logger transmission is switched off when we ship the loggers. So in order to receive them, we need to switch the transmission mode on. To do this, we go into logger settings, and now we have to manually toggle all the loggers into communication mode. When the LED indicator on the logger flashes 3 times, communication mode is switched on. Now we can download the current settings from one of the loggers. The app now warns me that transmission mode is turned off. I want to switch on the transmission mode now. I go to transmitter state, toggle the on switch, and now I have to upload the data to switch transmitter mode on all the devices. I go to upload, and now I get another prompt asking me if I only want to change the transmitter mode in one logger or in all 4. I go to no, and now I select all my loggers that I want to turn the transmitter state. I hit apply, and now the new setting, the transmitter state on, will be uploaded to all the 4 loggers. Now all 4 loggers have been switched on and are transmitting the noise data from the previous 7 nights every 5 seconds. I can check that in patrol. They're still empty, and I want to start receive them. I can hit start, and I will now start receiving the loggers. Every logger sends a signal every 5 seconds during the day. As soon as I received all 4 loggers, I can stop the transmission, and now I have the noise data from the previous 7 nights. The green space here indicates that there's no leak found in the previous night. It will turn yellow if it suspects a leak or if there's something unusual going on, and then it turns red if there is a continuous higher noise level during the night, and it indicates that there's probably a leak. In this case, no leak has been found because all our noise levels are very low and consistently staying low. The noise levels is a value between 0 and 99. Now all the 4 loggers are ready for deployment. Our loggers have in the standard settings, they measure the noise at night time between 2 a.m. in the morning and 4 a.m. in the morning, and they will transmit this data during the day between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. If we want to change these settings, to go into settings, and here again we have several items. The first item on the top left is program settings. This will change the settings inside the app. Then we have the logger settings, which will change the settings inside the loggers. And then we have other menu items that I will come back to later. But this time I don't want to change the settings inside the app, but the settings inside the logger. So I go to logger settings, and now my app doesn't yet know what information is inside the loggers. So in order to find out, I need to download this information first. As soon as this is finished, all my grayed out items here will be colorful again. And this means there's now data available, and I can look into the settings that are inside the logger. So here I can see my loggers will send from Monday to Sunday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And this is the same setting for all the weekdays. If I want to change that, I can now make adjustments here. For example, I can reduce the time the loggers will be transmitting by just hitting the clock item here. And for example, I know I only work, I only patrol my loggers before noon, so I can here change the settings from 16 o'clock to 12. Now they have only a 4-hour window and will send from 8 to 12. I can also change that they are not sending the previous 14 days, but only the last 7 days, for example, or just 1 day. If I patrol every day, I don't need to have the previous 14 days. Standard is to have the 7 days mode activated. So now I want to change the settings, and I will click on apply. If I not only want to have this setting changed on Monday, but on all other weekdays as well, I can long press on this first item and click copy. And now there's another prompt, and it will ask to which other weekdays I want to change this, to copy this setting. I have now selected all other weekdays and hit apply. Now all other weekdays have the same setting inside. Keep in mind, the settings have not yet been written to the logger. I have downloaded the setting, I have now manipulated the setting and changed it, and if I want to upload the setting to the logger, I need to hit upload to actually make the change happen. I have to make sure my logger is switched on, so I toggle the magnetic switch again, and then I click on upload. Now I get another prompt. My app wants to know if I want to push the new setting only to this one logger or maybe to other loggers as well. If I want to push this also to my other loggers, I can hit no, and it will ask me again to which loggers I want to change these settings. If I want to change all of the all 4 loggers, I can just activate them here, make sure they're all in communication mode, and hit apply. Now all logger settings will be changed one after another. The transmission has been successful, and the loggers have now been programmed to the new transmission times. Additionally to this one time slot, I can add a second time slot if I want to. But I can also change other settings. For example, I can change the measurement time. I mentioned this before. Standard is 2 a.m. in the morning to 4 a.m. in the morning, but I can also make changes here, turn off the measurement altogether or change the time. I will leave it as is. Can also change the amplification. In some cases, in very loud environments, there might be the need for that. Also transmission interval. During the time the loggers send their data, they send this data every 5 seconds. That's the standard. If I want to change that, I can increase this interval up to 20 seconds. This will conserve battery. I will leave it at 5 seconds for now. I can also change the date and the time of the logger. I can also reset the factory settings. I can turn off the transmission, and I can also request the info from any individual logger. Here I have the battery status, the firmware version, hardware version, also calibration value, and the device ID. In the settings menu, there's a point logger utilities where I have several useful tools for the operation of our BIDI loggers. One important feature I want to point out is read out noise sample. If I choose this, I can read out the nightly recording that every logger does. Every logger records a noise sample every night, and this can be read out and played back through this tool here. So if I want to read out the noise sample from this logger, I switch on the logger and I hit apply. Now this noise sample will be downloaded to the tablet. And I can see here several options. I can email it, I can export it, and I can also play back the noise sample. And here I have the frequency distribution of the noise sample. This is now from last night, and I can do this, I can download this every night. This is especially useful if in my patrol mode I get high noise readings, a yellow state or red state status, and this can help me further analyze the issue and listen into the noise. Our BIDI loggers are able to carry out a correlation, and in order to do this I go into the correlation menu and hit create correlation. I need to add at least 2 loggers, but I can add more to my correlation group, and to do so I have to hit the plus sign up here, and now I can choose which loggers I want to add to my group. I choose these 3 and I will hit apply. Now I have 3 loggers in my correlation group. Of course, the correlation is always between 2 points, but then I can choose between which of the 3 loggers the correlation will be calculated. By default, the correlation is set to start immediately, which does not make sense. I usually want to program a correlation for a quiet time at night, for example. So to set the correct start time, I go into start time and change the date from today to tomorrow, and I want to carry out the correlation at 1 a.m. in the morning. So I choose the right time. So now it is planned for tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. and I will hit apply. Now here it shows me the minute count, how many minutes until the correlation will start. To do this, I need now to upload this information to the 3 loggers. And this is very important because this will now synchronize the clocks inside the loggers, so the correlation will be very precise. If I want to upload, I need to make sure my loggers are in transmission mode, and then I can hit upload and the tablet will connect to the loggers and program the correlation tomorrow night. Now the correlation has been successfully programmed in all 3 loggers, and tomorrow night they will make a timestamped recording that I can then read out the following day and make the correlation calculation.